What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video of the Subaru WRX. So as you can tell from the title of this video, we're going to be going into everything that is actually wrong with this car, and at the end some things that I just don't entirely like about it, but are still manageable because I like it a lot. So the first thing that we got, which is my own fault, is this hood scoop. You can probably tell from the light a little bit, but in one of my videos before, we had painted it with just spray paint. I mean, it's kind of close. If you look at it from far away, you can't really tell, but I know that I can tell that it's a different color. I feel like you can kind of tell right here. It's like darker than this. It's not a huge deal, but it's just something that's wrong with it. Also, I just got my new iPhone 14 Pro Max, so this is also going to be a video test. Maybe I'll have like some shots at the end. Right now, the camera already looks really good. This is supposed to have like a bigger sensor on it or something. So the next thing that we got is, if you saw one of my videos before, I do need to get new brakes and rotors for this car. They're squeaking a lot. It's not as bad as it used to be, I think, because it's not raining as much, so there's not as much rust buildup, but it's definitely in need of some new brakes and rotors. They still squeak a lot. Sometimes it's just squeaking whenever I'm driving, which is a big sign that you need some new brake pads. Another thing, which if you've been following the channel for a little bit, you can tell, ooh, look, there's a bee, is this paint. So that's actually cracking more than it was before. We got all these paint chips up here, and there's also this spot in the back where it was hit before I had bought it. So all of those things need fixed. I was thinking about getting the car painted before, and I still am, but that's one thing that is bad. We got like scratches right here. They're all over. The other door has a lot of chips down there. Another thing that we got is, I think I showed this before whenever we had put this film on. It's actually not entirely noticeable, but you can kind of see this is just vinyl tint that we put over top of the taillights to black them out. On this side, it's not actually as bad as I remember. We got like some creases right here from the vinyl. You can see at the bottom there, it's still red. It's not perfect. Also on this side, wow, they're both not as bad as I thought. Maybe they like heated up or something. There's some creases up there. The light's all exposed in there. So I don't think there's anything like majorly wrong. It's just like, that's dirt. Something that's like majorly wrong. It's just little stuff that I noticed that probably nobody else does, but they're just all things that I know about the car. And I'm like, oh man, that looks so terrible. So whenever we had tried to patch the trunk, we bondoed over top of the holes that are on these four corners. And whenever we bondoed over them, we spray painted them, or whenever we bondoed over them, we had to sand it down and then we painted over top of it. So those scratches are still there now that I have the wing back on, because I was gonna get a new trunk for this car, but instead for now I just put the wing on until I get the whole car painted, because I think it'll just be cheaper to get the whole thing painted than to just do one thing at a time. So I have the wing back on for now. You can kind of see those scratches. Also, there's 4 bolts that hold this in, 1, 2, and then 3, 4 on the other side. This back left one, it just sits in there and spins whenever you put the nut on. So it's not the whole way bolted down. Ooh, that's gross. Look how dirty that is. This car is in need of a wash. Haven't been able to wash it because, one, haven't gone to the car wash here, and I usually wash my car a lot more at home, but it costs money to wash it here, so don't wash it as much. So yeah, that was a little flimsy. I don't know what to do. It just sits in there and spins whenever I try and put the nut on. I guess I could try and grab it with like some vice grips or something whenever I put it on, or try and like re-put the bolt back in here or something, but it just spins in there. So yeah, that's a little loose. And then this was supposed to be my replacement wing that I was gonna have instead of this one. And the reason that it's still on here after putting this wing back on is because we put a rivet, where is it? You can see it right there. We put a rivet in it so that way, if the 3M tape didn't hold up, the rivet would at least hold it on. And the rivet accidentally went the whole way through, and we had to, I forget, did we Bondo over it? I think we put some like Bondo over top of it, since we were Bondoing the trunk too, and then we painted it black. The car's a little dirty, so you might not be able to see, but whenever you get this car, it says Subaru right here. You can kind of see it. And the last person who had this car was the one who took it off of there. And I don't know if they just didn't do a good job or if it needs to be like buffed out or something, but it's still there. I mean, I've washed the car plenty of times. I've waxed the car plenty of times and it still stays there. So I don't know what you have to do to get rid of that. Also, there's a chip right there. Yeah, if anybody has like recommendations of how you would get rid of this, that would be good, because you can, whenever the car is clean, you can see it a lot more, and it just doesn't look that good. So it'd be nice to get those off of there. This is a new thing that has happened. This door is like, this door has been like super tight. I don't even know what's wrong with it. So as you can tell, it kind of squeaks a little bit. And it's been getting like really stiff to open. So I don't know if that needs like greased or something like that, or maybe, I don't know. I've never experienced that before. So I still have to do some research on it to see what could be wrong with it. But that's a new thing that has recently happened, is this door is getting a little sticky. So if you've seen some of my other videos, you know that this car has treated me very well. All I've had to do so far with the engine is oil, spark plugs. I had to reseat the cold air intake. This has been a problem that I've been having a little bit. But yeah, it's actually treated me really well. I haven't had to do much maintenance to it or anything like that. Oil, spark plugs. I don't even think the spark plugs actually needed it that bad. I just changed them anyway because tracked down a misfire and it was just a coil pack. So that was super easy. Reseated that. This thing, which I don't know a permanent solution yet, I feel like this is supposed to be one complete tube. This goes to the boost gauge and it comes out of our bypass valve. And this thing keeps flying off. This is like the third time I've taped it. I've used duct tape, electrical tape. This is electrical tape. It just keeps flying apart. It hasn't fallen apart yet this time. It's held up like this, so maybe it'll hold up still. But I feel like, just taping it isn't exactly a permanent solution. But for now, it works. So I guess we'll see how long that lasts. Maybe this winter when I'm home, I can try and find something more permanent for that. Because it's just two pieces of a tube. And there's like this metal thing that like kind of keeps it together, but it doesn't actually really keep it together. So I have to tape it. So that might be something to figure out later. But that's something else. Everything else in the engine bay is actually really nice. I don't think anything else is wrong in here. Okay, one last thing that I did forget to mention. On this right side, there's some suspension component down here. I don't know if it's a shock, if it's a control arm or what. But sometimes whenever I turn, it like clunks a little bit. And if I hit a bump hard enough, it also clunks too, but it's usually whenever I turn. I think it's whenever I turn left, it clunks usually. So that's also one thing that I forgot to mention. I still have to look into that, see if it's a suspension component, which is what I'm guessing it is. But I don't know if it's like a shock, control arm, some bushing or what. But that's also another thing. So that is everything with the exterior. This is the boost gauge that I was talking about. That line runs to this, so it can measure like how many MPAs, megapascals, I think, it's getting. And that just would always come undone, and then I'd get a lean code because it can't read it right because air's blowing out of there and stuff. But it's working now for the time being. Another thing, there's not that much wrong with the inside of this car, but let me at least turn this on. So I feel like this is a notorious problem with WRXs, or just like this year of Subaru Imprezas, is these clocks don't work anymore. I feel like I've seen a lot of stuff on forums of people's clocks up here not working. Mine doesn't work. There's little things on the inside, like I'm not sure if this actually came blue or if the person painted it blue, but like we got some fading paint there. There's some around the top too. This one's actually not that bad. This one's got a little bit of a thing right there. I'm not sure how much of a problem this is, or if it even is actually a problem, but like, so this window, I don't know if that's slow. Okay, that feels pretty slow. In my personal opinion, I feel like it should be moving faster than that. And the other one, I think, is even slower. Like, that has to be, I think I need a new motor or something. This isn't really something that's wrong with it. Just like a nitpicky thing. So you obviously have this cup holder here, but what's gonna fit in there? A soda can? Maybe you could fit like a water bottle, like a plastic water bottle, and that's it. Up here, I mean, ignore the dirt. I keep forgetting to clean that off because I just push it back in and forget about it. You can kind of fit something a little bigger in there, but I mean, yeah, you can fit something decent in there. But those are your only 2 cup holders. Personally, I don't know. I only use that whenever somebody else is in the car. But like if I have like a shaker bottle or something, it's not fitting in there. So I just kind of put it in my lap, or I put it on that seat. Okay, so this is just in the front camera. You know, I thought the back seats were gonna be a lot worse in here. I never sit in the back. The last time I sat in the back was whenever I bought this car. My dad and the guy we bought it from sat in the front, and I sat in the back. It's not as bad as I thought. It was supposed to be one of my complaints because I assumed that it was gonna be really bad, but I'm about 6 feet, 6'1" with shoes on. I still got some knee room. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but I still fit in the back. It's decently comfy. Maybe I'll take this off my complaint. I mean, it's a compact car, so like, you know, it's not something crazy, but I could sit back here. It's pretty nice. So with all that being said, still love the Subaru WRX to death. It's been so much fun to have. More so than I'd say my Jeep and my Accord. It's definitely been my favorite car. You know, the Jeep was cool because it was jacked up and stuff. I don't know if I ever showed my Jeep on here, but maybe I can put a picture in or something. That was a fun car, but I think this is a lot more fun. I think I'm more of the sports car guy. But yeah, even with all those things that are wrong, this is still my favorite car that I've had so far. It's a lot of fun. Nice having a little turb ski that goes off whenever you're driving. You hear that whistling whenever you're going. Still so much fun. Still a lot that needs to be done to it. But this is just a couple of things that are wrong with it. And hopefully they'll be getting fixed sometime here in the future. A lot of those smaller things like the brakes and like fixing the trunk, like those aren't too expensive. So who knows when those could be fixed sometime soon. Even like the line up here, everything in the engine bay would be 100% if I could just get that dialed in, so that way it wouldn't fly off again, because I don't know how reliable that tape is. But yeah, I'm just going to take a couple cinematic shots because there's a new cinematic mode with this iPhone 14, and we'll see how those turn out. And I'm just going to put this at the end. So if you're leaving now, thank you for watching, and I will put those clips at the end.
Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. Through the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, on the highway, and in the driveway is a nice range. 'Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go, go.